What you doing?
Ran out of space on my phone, so I'm deleting some stuff. Bye, singing dog. Bye, goal.
I pronounce you.
Bye, wedding ceremony.
Stop. At Metro PCS, you get 2 free phones with twice as much memory.
Really?
Don't say bye to your memories. Switch to Metro PCS and get 2 free LG K20 Plus phones with 32 gigs when you switch 2 lines. Metro PCS. Wireless. Figured out. Coverage not available in some areas. Sales tax not included in phone price. Excludes numbers on the T-Mobile network. See store for details and terms and conditions.
Blog Talk Radio.
You know, I was just driving back home because I have my 3 o'clock show today. And I was sitting in traffic, and I was just thinking to myself, holy hell, I haven't been on the radio for a while. So my apologies to everybody. I've been busy. I've been traveling. I've been doing all this fun stuff. Stopped at the post office today. Note to you people, stay the hell away from the post office. Those people are mean, and I'm talking about mean. The lady at the post office barked at me for $3.03 postage that I was sending to Los Angeles. A little ridiculous. So, hey, everybody, I'm back. Just a couple quick announcements. You can see I can't talk, and this is minus the alcohol. Before we have Chris come on the show, I just want to make a couple quick announcements in case everybody happened to miss my wall today. Tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, Sonia Satra is coming on the phone, and I'm very excited about this interview. Not that I'm not about today's because, oh, my God, this guy is mega talent. So we'll get to him in a second. Sonia's coming on the show at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time tomorrow. Most of you might recognize her from her soap opera days. Obviously, of course, most of us have either watched Guiding Light at one point in time or One Life to Live. She kind of just mainstreamed away from that a little bit and did something that I just found out about in New York City when I went to see a film called Saved by Dr. Sarno. She's very big on the mind and body connection, so I'm terribly excited to talk about this new creation of hers. It's called Motisis. And forgive me if I said that wrong, so you can yell at me and correct me tomorrow. She also has an ongoing Twitter chat every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time with the hashtag BetterLifeChat. So I'm super excited to talk to her about that. I know very recently she was in a production called American Playboy, the Hugh Hefner story, where she played Gloria Steinem. Excellent production. I cannot say enough about her talent. You need to check her out. She's beautiful. She's fabulous. Her husband obviously owns, in case you guys may not have ever heard of him, although I would highly doubt that you haven't, his name, of course, is Stephen David. He's the president of Stephen David Entertainment. So we're going to talk a little bit about him, too. Friday, I'm so super excited because it's been such a long time since I've been able to promote local music. So my guys right here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, the band is called Head Knocker Rocks, and they are, of course, a Foreigner tribute band. If you follow me, you already know Foreigner's like at my top 5. Like my top 5 actors is like top 5 bands of all time. Head Rocker Knox, led by Thomas Edward Hunter. He's also having 2 of the other guys coming on the show. We're going to be having both the drummer as well as the keyboard player coming on the show. And we might even get the lead singer. Don't get too excited, though. That's going to be 4:30 Central Standard Time on Friday. 2 quick reminders really fast. Everybody should check the Art is Alive Film Festivals for some updates and changes. That will be done probably tomorrow morning or afternoon. Then second of all, it looks very unlikely that I'm going to hit Chronicon after all this weekend, in case you guys didn't happen to notice. The founder decided 3-4 days before the event to cancel, or postpone, I should say, and then within 4 or 5 hours later, he re-put this back on, which screws things up for people like Wisconsin with plane tickets and things like that, so I'm frustrated. So more to come on that, but it's very, very likely that I won't be doing the Comic-Con. But like I said, watch my page for updates. So without further ado, instead of listening to me babble, we'll listen to Chris talk because he's far more fascinating than I am. So let's get him on the line and start talking. Sorry, Chris, did you have to listen to me babble?
It's fine. How you doing, Cindy?
I'm very nervous. You're a big deal. I knew a lot about you before I am about to interview you, but now I know a lot more about you, and you're like the shit. I mean, this is like serious big-time talent on the other end of the phone. I'm sure you're aware of that, though, right?
Well, I like to downplay it. You know, I don't want to ever let it go to my head, even though my girlfriend would love to disagree and bash me for my ego, but I try to downplay it as much as possible.
Well, it's fabulous and it's fascinating. And we're going to go into so many different adventures and things that you've done, and I'm really super excited to have you on the show. So thank you, and I'm sorry it's taken such a long time. It seems as though the bigger the show grows, the harder it is to get on, and that kind of sucks. So I'm glad that you're here, and thank you for taking the time to do this. Since you brought her up, I want to talk about your fiancé because let me just tell you guys this. I'm sure you've heard this, right? Oh, my God. You and your fiancé are the cutest thing in the world. They like have these little sayings like Chris said this and Lindsay said this. It's the cutest thing, and they're just so in love. It's like, oh my God. So let's talk about Lindsay.
We basically, like, we're hanging out, and you know, one of us will say something that's incredibly quotable, and then we look at the other person and go, you have to post that now. And then we literally post that exact bit and we just kind of keep it going. And yeah, it's just like it's very unscripted, but it sounds like something you'd hear in a sitcom, so we just put it in there.
That's absolutely awesome. And she's beautiful, by the way, folks. Not only have I seen her in your productions, but she's absolutely breathtaking, and she's so crazy about you. It's so sweet. I mean, it's just so sweet. I'm like, oh, my God, they're such a real-life, very sweet, very much in love couple. So congratulations to both of you. That's really awesome. I think that's great.
Thank you.
And
she is very stunning.
Well, and I've also seen that she was named, wasn't she named, somebody named her cosplay, right? She won an award or something like that. She was a cosplay figure or something like that. Or you both were, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right?
Oh, no. She got featured. She got named Cosplayer of the Week on Cosplay Culture for her Elastigirl costume that we did, Elastigirl from the Incredibles. And then she got featured on the official Red Sonja Instagram a bunch of times for her outfit doing that as well. They really like her suit.
Awesome. Well, of course. That's absolutely awesome. That's terrific. Now, are you guys getting – I'm not quite clear on this. Are you getting married in the near future, or is this something down the road? Because I'm like, you're so busy. I'm like, you have to, like,
it's going to be one of those situations. As soon as the situation presents itself properly, financially, we're totally doing it.
Oh, neat. Okay, good deal. Okay, I just wanted to clarify that.
Because, like, we really want to. But we're debating, like, do we just elope or – because we went to our friend's wedding last week, and we're talking to everyone about the idea of getting married, and they're all like, just go to a courthouse.
Oh.
They're like, it costs so much money, just go to a courthouse. And we're debating.
Oh, my God.
Do it.
No, but I understand, though. I mean, it's just you guys are just – it's just so cute. Okay. I'm not going to put my 2 cents in because I would say just wait until the moment was right and go to the right place because it's so romantic. You guys are so happy, and it's like if you go to the courthouse, I get it, but you know what I'm saying. So there you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's going to be immediate.
No, I understand completely. I do. We want to talk about, or I want to talk about Blinky. So where does that come from? Because I know it's your nickname. Most people listening probably don't know that that's obviously synonymous with Blinky Productions, et cetera. So where does that whole little nickname niche come from?
That is actually an interesting question. I rarely talk about it, but I'll tell you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's cool. It's a good story. When I was in the 3rd grade, I was diagnosed with having Tourette syndrome. And I was not in control of my body back then. You know, I had involuntary reactions. I blinked, I twitched, and it was quite embarrassing for me. And sure enough, because kids are absolute assholes, I got the nickname Blinky. And I said to myself, as soon as I got the nickname, I said, no. I am not going to let anybody hold this one over me. I'm not going to let them make fun of me. I'm going to own it. So I started harnessing the identity of Blinky, and I created Blinky the Bunny. That was the first thing I did. That was my mascot. And then when I decided I wanted to make movies, I created Blinky Productions. And also, by the way, my first internet screen name was Blinky 500, which is also my channel. So for the last 20-some-odd years, my internet presence has always been Blinky 500 because I said, I'm going to own this. So I did.
Oh, that's absolutely awesome. That is really, that's a kick-ass story. You're absolutely right about that. And kids are absolutely mean. I know exactly what you're talking about. My kid was a seizure patient for 3 years, and people were just really rough, and they're not sensitive to the needs of a child when they're going through things like that. It sucks. It really does suck. And I love how you're embracing it in such a positive manner instead of thinking, hey, you know, this totally sucks, blah, blah, blah. This is good, positive, and we need that right now. Because I'm afraid to ask this next question. I'm going to throw it out there.
One of the things I learned as a kid was just beat them to the punch. If someone is going to make a joke about you, you got to know that joke first and make it first. Once you make fun of yourself first, it takes the fun out of everything and be like, well, now I don't want to make fun of it because he's already making fun of it. So I used to offer staring contests with people and guarantee them that I would lose.
Oh, my God. That is such a super cool idea. But it makes a lot of sense. Obviously, if you know if a punch is already coming, be prepared for it, get ahead of it instead of behind it. I totally get what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I love it.
And then once I got a one-up on everybody, I started getting a little bit more creative. And this is just a little aside. There was a game called The Game of Life. I'm sure everyone's played it.
Yep.
You know, the board game?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I took the spinner, and I created Spin for Your Soul. So I would go
Oh my
around
God.
school in high school with the spinner, and I would say, spin for your soul. And people would go, what's that? And I go, you're going to spin, I'm going to spin, and if I get a number higher than you, I get your soul. And I go, what are you talking about? I go, you're going to write your name on a piece of paper, and that's your soul. And it got
Oh my God.
because I actually won a lot, and I started, anytime I would lose, I could just trade off someone else's soul. And it got where people who were superstitious got really freaked out. They're like, I own your soul. Like, no, you don't. You don't own my soul. Give it back.
Oh my God. Wow. Whoa.
I had the principal's soul.
Wow. Okay. Remind me not to go to Chris's house and play anything with him. And this is kind of, oh my God, you're freaking me out, dude. I already follow you. And I'm like, whoa, okay.
So, yeah, I retired the game a long time ago, but you're safe.
No. Okay, thank you. All right, now I'm feeling a lot better. Although this next question might stir up a lot of ruffles. Because one of the things I like to bring up on the show, because it's my show and I can do this, which you know, obviously, you take liberties with products. Chris and I are both, and I'm very positive in saying this, that we're about as far anti-Trump as you can get. I always give opportunity to people that come on my show if they want to throw out or say out anything, or I guess what I want to really address is I want to see if your circumstances or your experiences are the same as mine, which is the racial, not so much racial, the swearing, the name calling, the ugliness, the negativity. It's gotten kind of out of control, I think, on all sides of the fence. And I'm just wondering what your experience is being anti-Trump. What's it like for you? I mean, are you kind of over it? I'm almost to the point where I may not want to be on social media because of it. You know what I'm saying?
I had a friend on Facebook who said that and I thought it was cute. It was funny. He said, I'm going to do this new challenge where I'm not going to talk about Trump for the next month. And day 2, he broke it. He goes, I can't handle anymore. I'm sorry. It's like every single day it's a new low. Right. Every single day it's another insane thing that this prick has done. And I've lost a lot of people whom I deemed friends over this. But I realize now, it's like, you know what? Fuck all of you. You're better. And I posted this morning, I honestly feel that we need to start shaming stupid people. If you are willfully stupid, ignorant, or promoting hatred or taking the rights away from someone, I want to shame you for doing that, for being a bad human being.
Sure. No, I understand what you mean. Yeah. I do. And I agree with the stupidity factor. It's like it's maddening. It's very maddening. And it's hard to talk to somebody who's a Trump supporter because they're very positive Trump no matter what he does. And it's like, I understand that frenzy all too well. In fact, I was thinking of you this morning and I said to myself, I wonder if Chris is going to do something relative to this. I could see you filming something relative to Trump. Would that be that far off the peg here? Oh, you have? I didn't know that.
My next feature film that I'm really trying to get funding for is called I, Psycho. And I've been talking, anytime I pitch the movie, they go, what kind of movie is this? And I go, as long as Trump is in office, this movie is relevant. It's about, I've made 2 shorts of I, Psycho already, which you can find on YouTube. That's I, Psycho 1 and I, Psycho 2. It's about this man who, his mission in life is to punish people in positions of influence who abuse their power. So imagine if Jigsaw from the Saw franchise was in his, late 20s, physically fit, and not afraid to get his hands dirty by stabbing you. So that's kind of the idea of the film. In the Saw films, Jigsaw was like, I never killed anyone. They killed themselves, which is dumb.
Right.
In my film, he's like, no, I will stab you because you're a bad person. But I want to make you stop first and know why you're being punished.
Oh, my God, that is a wicked idea. And that could work, too, actually. That really could. And I'm so going to back that. I'm so saying that now.
Because the protagonist of the first film is actually a podcaster.
Really?
Yeah, she's this foul-mouthed, shock jock, DJ, podcaster, and, and she's just talking up a storm, and then he comes after her for being a bitch.
Wow. Oh, my God, this sounds so – I'm excited already hearing about this. I mean, guys, aren't you excited just listening to this? I'm like, just the segue to this is just absolutely awesome. I love
that's
it. This is a great concept.
The feature film's a little bit bigger and more grandiose, but same premise.
Sure.
And we're just hoping to try and get a bit of a budget to make that one happen. because that basically it lampoons all of Hollywood. Like we go after, you know, the Alex Jones InfoWars type characters. We go after the reality stars, and then we go after the people who are pundits who just talk about this sort of thing.
It's an excellent idea, as a matter of fact. Now, when you go off for funding, are you like the typical filmmaker, meaning most of the ones that I've dealt with usually do the crowdfunder, the Kickstarter, things along those lines? Are you along that same caveat, or do you do different things in terms of raising funds for your films?
I hate crowdfunding. I think
really?
It's on par with panhandling on the subway. I might as well just stand there and you know, do a tap and shuffle asking people to give me their loose change. Because I've tried it before, and not only is it embarrassing, it never works. Because everyone that I try to solicit to, they're like, oh, I'm a huge fan of your work, but I don't have any money. And I'm like, well, every dollar counts. I know, but I need that dollar to live. And it's like, okay, well, you need the dollar to live, so you have it. I don't want it that badly. I'm not the kind of I'm not a hustler. I'm not the kind of person who my movie is more important than your life. So I won't like cram it down your throat saying, please give me your cash. If you say no the first time, I'm not going to ask a second time. So my methods for investing is I just want to, you know, do it the old-fashioned way and find investors instead of crowdsourcing, because it never works. Unless you have like a major celebrity already attached, which I usually don't. Right. Because every celebrity I deal with, they're always like, you know, when you have money, come talk to me.
Right. No, I understand completely. I do. I want to address the statement that you made, because a lot of people that listen to my show are in the industry or becoming in the industry or interested in making movies. One of the things that I thought was neat that you said, and it's a quote from you, which is, if you find the money, I will film it, period. Meaning you get the budget, you put it together, and I will film it. Now, I want you to address – okay. I want you to address that, meaning to the listening audience, because I know that there are some people out there, there's two different trains of thought. Some people I talk to are like, oh, just do this and this and this, and it's not that difficult. But I want people to also understand the reality of the situation, which is, let's say ABC filmmakers listening to you right now, and they want to go off and they want to make their very first indie movie. What advice would you give them in terms of, okay, how much money do you think, and I know this is hard, damn it, we're just doing ballpark here. Give them some idea of what's involved in it, you know, because it's all glamour and it's all excitement. And, oh, my God, I'm going to make a film. Now let's talk about the reality of it a little bit. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't want to take away from the glamour, but there's reality.
The reality is pretty much this. If you're a first-time filmmaker and you want to get out there and do something, do not make a feature. Don't. It's too big of an undertaking, and you're going to fail, it's going to suck, and you're going to hate it in a year from now. If you're a first-time filmmaker, you need to hone your skill. Get a camera, even shoot on an iPhone if you have to, and make shorts. 5 to 10 minutes tops. Do not do anything over that, and just throw the damn thing on YouTube. Even do festivals if you think you're that good. You'll get humbled, trust me. But don't make a feature. Just make for the first 3 years, only do short films, because you're going to learn as you grow what's going to be easy, what's going to be hard, how fast can you produce these things, what people like, what people don't like, what you're good at, what you suck at, and it's just easier that way. Then after you've amassed a small following and maybe you got somebody interested in your work, try a feature maybe, unless you have a brilliant idea that involves no money whatsoever. But again, only after you've made at least 10 good short films. And by good, I'm talking they are critically acclaimed beyond your small circle of family, friends, and associates. You need to have people from all over the world watching your stuff online going, this is really good, you should do something bigger.
Gotcha.
When it comes to when I talk about the you fund it, I'll film it thing, I have people every single day for the last 13 years that I've been doing this, always messaging me saying, hey, Chris, you should do this next. Like, I had people go, do Chucky vs. Leprechaun, you know, do Just the Killer, do Spider-Man, just do all these things. Someone said, do Crittington Duke, the black guy from Jason Goes to Hell. Yeah. And my answer is always, you fund it, I'll film it, because I don't give a crap about your idea. I have other things I'm already doing, so if you really want me to take time out of my day to work on your idea, give me money. That way my bills are paid, and I'll focus on the film.
Sure. And that makes perfect sense. And it's realistic and honest, obviously, because I know, it's difficult getting out there and getting your work out there. And what I've noticed about your films is, and this is just a sense I get because now I've watched probably 10, 12 of these, including the Krueger one. And I guess what I find so fascinating is the fact that everything is point on. And what I mean by that is the audio sounds just as it should. The plot is as good as it should be. There's a lot of passion that goes into these. And they're short films. I mean, some of them are 6 minutes, some of them are 9 minutes, some of them are 18 minutes. So the frequency and time changes, but the quality never changes, meaning that you're putting 120% into every one of those projects. And I'm not just saying that because I've watched a slew of them. It's true. It's very, very true.
Thank you.
I mean, that's a true testament.
Well, I
to your
believe
talent.
firmly that if you're going to do anything, if you're going to put your name on anything, it has to be the best. Whether, again, it's a minute long or it's 125 minutes long, you have to make it the best that you can do. And I was just talking about this the other day, actually, to Lindsay, about any subject that I take on, specifically fan films. I have to be an expert in that subject. So when I took on Freddy Krueger and I wanted to do the Krueger prequels, I needed to become an expert not only in Freddy Krueger, but in child murderers and serial killers. I needed to, in police procedure, I wanted to make sure that whatever happened in the course of my series, you can't look at it and go, yeah, that never happened. No, that would happen. That's exactly how it has happened. From child abduction to interrogation scenes gone wrong to, and then again, the parents torching Freddy Krueger's ass at the end of it. It happened, at least in the movie, so I had to maintain that. I did a Punisher web series a long time ago, and I didn't know much about the Punisher, but I made sure I did before I got behind that camera. I wanted to know who Frank Castle was, what motivated him, what's my take on it, how was I going to make this better than the other Punisher movies that were currently there at the time. So I always say to people, make sure you're an expert when you do your homework. Always do your homework.
And that's another bit of advice. I can't even tell you how many times I've spoken to other people and I've seen films, and I know that they're putting their all into it, but yet it seems as though they're just kind of missing a detail here, or this wasn't quite on, or this wasn't quite on. And you hit it on the head there that you do a number of fan films, so it possessed me to want to ask the question. You yourself, meaning you, Chris, in general, are you mainly driven to do these fan films because a great deal of them are personal loves of your own? Because I was curious about that. I was like, okay, he must totally be a Freddy fan, and he must be a fan of this. You know what I mean?
No, not really, actually. What it comes down to, a fan film is actually the ultimate challenge. You know how they say, like, being in a horror movie is the greatest challenge because, for an actor, because like a final girl, because she has to go through a range of emotions? It's the same thing for me because I'm taking on a property that already has a fan base. It has its own interpretations. Everybody believes their version is the best version, and I got to stand out amongst that and say, no. My version is not only the best, or my version could be the best. I have to prove my worth. I could just make my own, and I do. I make my own movies all the time with my own original characters, but I don't have any peers to compare those characters to. But when Roberto and I did the Krueger series, you look at him, you look at his portrayal of Freddy Krueger, and you go, shit, this guy's Robert Englund, and there's no denying it. It could be, if I got somebody else in that part, then you could be like, that's not Robert Englund. He doesn't even look like him. With Roberto doing it, and that comes down to casting, finding the right actors. Like we just did an X-Men movie, and the guy who played Wolverine looks like Hugh Jackman's brother. Like he could be related to him because it's just that close. And again, I could have said, no, I want to go in a different route, in which I actually did. I wanted to just get a more comic book accurate version of Wolverine. But I found Jeff, and Jeff looked so much like Hugh Jackman, and he was good, that it was an opportunity I refused to pass up. So when I do fan films, I honestly just want to try and push the envelope and show how much I can do for no money and still have it be on par, if not better, than a lot of Hollywood's efforts.
That makes sense, definitely. And it shows, obviously. Like I said, folks, when you go to the channel and you take a look at some of these different shorts, some of the different things he's done, he's also got a teaser trailer up, of course, for Long Live Logan, amongst other things. You're going to see that quality coming across there. And it just, like I said, if I didn't know any better, I would swear you were a huge fan of all these. And I was saying that to myself. I'm like, oh, my God, if I was around him, he'd be like, scaring me. Like, when you're on set, I could just picture being scared crapless. You know what I'm talking about? Like, some of my friends that have done horror movies have been like, it's freaky.
Well, that proves how good I am at my craft, because I'm not a fan of everything I make something of. A lot of times I view it as a challenge. Like my next challenge, I'm actually considering doing a James Bond series. I like Bond as much as the next average person, but I kind of want to do more. I want to do something with Bond because I think I can do a good job of it. You know, I may not be the largest Bond fan. I can't even name all 23 films without, having to look at IMDb. I know most of them. But when you're going to see my series, you'll be able to go, wow, I think you might be a fan.
That's awesome. And I'm excited, and I hope you do it too, because James Bond, I think it would be ideal, because like you're talking about, I love it when creators go out of their comfort level a little bit, and they say, I'm not willing to stretch this box this far, I'm not willing to not try this or this or this, which is awesome. I want to switch gears.
That's making art. That's the difference between an artist and then, a business person. Like if you look at Michael Bay, for example, Michael Bay is in his comfort zone. He makes explosive movies, literally. And, they're summer blockbuster popcorn films, and that's that. You're never going to see Michael Bay doing a down-to-earth, witty dialogue, Joss Whedon-style movie or a Woody Allen-style movie. No, he's going to blow shit up and have swooping camera angles. But that's him, and that's cool, and I respect that. Right. Me, on the other hand, I want to be diverse. I want to be like when I want to be the Robert Downey Jr. or Johnny Depp of filmmaking. But I don't want to go through like the whole Johnny Depp thing where like he's a one-trick pony thing. When Johnny Depp was at his peak, I want to be that.
No, I understand. I do, totally. Now, we want to talk about this. I want to switch just a little bit because I know some of the people that are listening in might be interested in utilizing Blinky Productions Incorporated, which is your business, started in 2004 until present, of course. You don't just shoot films. You also have done music videos, you've done commercials, you've done events, etc. I'd like to have you talk a little bit about who you service, meaning are you just LA-based alone? Will you go to other locations, et cetera? Let folks know a little bit about how flexible you are and what they can expect in working with your corporation on that side of the fence.
I'm like a mercenary. I'll go where the money is. So
I love it.
I am. I'm a mercenary filmmaker. I have shot remotely. I've been employed by a company that was in Jacksonville, Florida, and I was living in New Jersey at the time. They were a real estate company, and they had me shoot these wacky commercials where I was living, and then I just slapped on their logo at the end, and then they aired them wherever they were. I've gone on location. I was hired one time to film a fitness video out in the dry lakes of Las Vegas, and I went and I fried like bacon out there because I'm too white, but it's okay. And I will work with someone right at home if they're willing. I've shot music videos and events and stuff like that. So, yeah, it just depends. Wherever the money is and if someone wants me, I'll go.
That's awesome. And you're I guess we should ask only about flexibility because obviously I know that you're always either about to start another project or working on more than one project. So is there enough time, are you flexible enough to where you can fit in a side project in addition to doing the film stuff?
There's always time.
Oh, I like that attitude. Awesome. See? Okay, just a bit of background on you.
Work for me is like Jell-O. Work is like Jell-O, and there's always room for Jell-O.
Oh, my God, I love this guy. He is so freaking cool. Now, we want to let everybody know that Chris is, yes, he is educated. He went to he's graduate of the School of Visual Arts. I know that, and you got your BFA in animation. So I wanted to ask about that because it's an interesting animation in and of itself I find to be absolutely fascinating, probably because I can't do it in any manner, shape, or form. I can't even draw a stick person. And this whole concept of animation, I want to talk a little bit about animation and film these days and just get your take on this because obviously you are a producer and you know a great deal about animation. I'm wondering if you think, I get the sense, and I know there's two different, I'm thinking of CGI right off the top of my head because I'm not a CGI fan, and I probably will get lynched for saying that, but it's true. I'm just not big on huge amounts of CGI being used in film. So I'm wondering, as it relates to the animation background that you got, meaning from your education, do you get a chance to use the animation side of things as often, or is that just not something that's working within the game plan nowadays? Because I don't see you do a lot of animated stuff.
It depends. I haven't done like a movie with traditional animation, like with a cartoon character interacting with a human. And I haven't done stop motion, which is something I did in college where you have animated figures. I have, however, done special effects and rotoscoping in my movies. And so that helps.
Okay.
Having that knowledge. It's actually on my new demo reel. You can actually see some of those shots. I did a Powerpuff Girls short film back in October, and it's actually my second most watched video on my channel right now. We had the Powerpuff Girls, fly, so to speak, and they use their powers. And if you've ever watched the cartoon, when they dart on and off screen, they're followed by a trail of pink, green, or blue light. And I used that. I had to animate that in. So, and then when I was doing my Star Wars short film, Whatever Happened to Mace Windu, we had a lightsaber battle. Now, we used practical lightsabers, which glow, and they're good for impact and fighting, but some shots, they can look very fake and plastic. And I had to animate on top of the plastic rod the actual animated lightsaber blade. So I was doing that as well, and I always do special effects with, like, gunshots, muzzle flashes, explosions. In my Wolverine short, I have Gambit use his powers. So, yeah, being an animator, it kind of helps being able to do that stuff by myself.
Oh, definitely. I can see where that would be the case, actually. My son had a question for you, my 12-year-old, who's not here, but I'm asking for him on his behalf. He wants to take, well, first let me backtrack because we want to talk about this. I didn't know that you had actually done a comic with your father. I literally found that out today. Let's talk about that. What brought that about? I mean, how did that all happen?
Funny story. In 2006, I created a character called the Protector. And the Protector was my statement on comic books at the time. DC Comics wanted to go dark, and they wanted to go gritty. So Superman was full of baggage. Smallville was full of baggage at the time. Everybody was just all angsty. There was a whole thing in the comics in the DC universe where superheroes were getting murdered left and right. And I got angry. And I was like, come on, guys, because one of my favorite characters was killed off with no regard whatsoever. They just blew his brains out. And I'm like, I like this guy.
God.
What the hell? Yeah, I was angry. And then I actually spoke to the chief and editor, Dan DiDio, at the time. I go, what the crap, dude? He goes, he's dead. Deal with it. I'm like, you're an asshole because this character has been in existence since 1939, and you just decided to execute him. Good for you, but some of us may or may not be fans of certain people. It's not fair to the fan base to just murder a character, and that's the end of it, you know? Correct. Everyone's supposed to always tell life. That's the whole point of comics because nothing ever stays dead. So I said, I wish we could go back to a time where superheroes could be superheroes. And, like, you think back to, like, Christopher Reeve's Superman and George Reeves' Superman. And I said, I want to do that. I want to create a character and just make my statement. So I created the Protector, and he was my archetype, my Superman archetype for the George Reeves, Christopher Reeve era of Superman. And the short film I made back then, was about him aging out of usefulness. The idea of the classic, I'll rescue a kitty cat from a tree superhero is dead now, and it's been replaced with this gritty, angsty, badass. They don't want to have superheroes be wholesome anymore. So that's where the Protector came from. And the film, I released it back in 2006. It was a tearjerker. So it'll make anybody feel kind of sad. And my dad really liked the character and everything like that. And then in 2010, my dad, for my birthday, he just decided out of nowhere to, because I wrote a Protector feature script. I just thought one day it would be great to do this. So my dad decided to draw one of the scenes out of the short film in the script. He drew that as a comic book panel and gave it to me. And I go, what's this? And he goes, happy birthday. And I looked at the pages, and he drew 5 pages. And I go, so where's the rest? He goes, what do you mean? That this is your gift? No, you don't. You do not start me on, like, the greatest heroine ever and then cut me off. You're going to go back to your tape, finish, goddammit. And I made him finish the book.
Wow.
But my dad was happy to do it because He really liked the character, and he was, you know, he grew up with that version of superhero. So having the protector present in me made him feel happy again. So I was just like, no, you finish what you started, Dad. So he did. We made the book. We put it out, and that was that.
Gotcha. So that's where my son's question comes in, because my son actually wrote and helped to illustrate his comic book, which is about to come out. So him and I were sitting and we were talking, and we were getting frustrated because hospitals, you know, this is a seizure patient relative book, and so hospitals have not been very cooperative, meaning in every state. So he sat down and I said, you know what, I wonder if we could do something like a little web series or whatever. So I said, you know what, I'm going to ask my friend Chris when he comes on, because you've done almost everything under the sun. If a uneducated, untechnical individual who's a mom of a beautiful hero who wants to do a web series, what would a smart mom do? Because I'm like, he sounds like, you know, the hospitals, I've only been able to get 10 out of 50. I promised him that every pediatric neurology hospital, at least one in every state, would see this. And if they're not going to take the books for free, I said to him, maybe we should look at the idea of, you know, casting a few people and just doing a quick little web series that they could run. But I'm making it sound very simple, aren't I? So I'm asking the guru, just how complicated would something like that be?
Well, actually, it can be kind of simple depending on how you do it. For a first-time filmmaker, my advice is this. Write a 2 to 5 page script that involves one location, no more than 3 actors, you know? Just something simple, short, to the point. Have that scene explain what it is that you're trying to do. So if your character or your story has a message, get that message out in the course of that scene. If it's one location and it's not a crazy location, it's easy. Like if your characters are all in a park, great, you're in a park. If your characters are all in a living room, great, you're in a living room. Don't think big. All self-contained. Dialogue is the most important thing you can have in a story. Everyone thinks they need spectacle. Everyone thinks they need to have these enlarged sequences with battles and gunfights, car chases and explosions, and you don't. A lot of my movies are all character-driven, even though I'm dealing with properties that are considered grandiose. You know, if you look at my Krueger movies, there's not a whole lot physically going on. It's all about the dialogue. It's what Freddy Krueger is saying to abduct these children, what he's saying to Detective Thompson to drive him insane. He's not chasing after gold. And yes, I have those in later on ones, but I'm skilled. I can get away with doing those sorts of things now for no money. But when you're starting out, make it dialogue-driven first. And, I mean, is this a superhero story, or what kind of story is this?
Well, you know, obviously, for me, it's in my mind, it's going to be relatively simple because your general audience is somewhere between the age of, like, 5 to 10. You know, you don't have some of the things that adults are going to look at. This is all for children, you know, or parents, obviously, seizure patients.
What's the genre, though?
Well, it's I don't know what you would call it, actually. Literally, it's just an adaptation of the comic book, which is he created, you know, 2 good guys and 1 bad guy, and Sergeant Seizure ultimately ends up finding a cure for seizures.
Okay, well then I would just focus on the crux of that scene. Leave it with a cliffhanger. Don't spoil your story. Either do a video prequel or an overall aside. Like when I made my Protector comic book with my dad, we didn't want to give away anything that was in the feature script, and we didn't want to do the movie again because we both agreed that even though the movie's beautiful, it's a real downer. So I actually said, you know what? We're going to just do crime, day one on the job, and we're not going to focus on what the future holds for the character or anything like that. We're going to just show him in his heyday on his first day on the job, and that was the premise of the book. So it was just something simple that could be done that had no consequence to the actual story. It just embellished it.
Gotcha. Okay, I follow you. Okay, that makes sense, too. Because I said, let me get all this information, honey, and then we'll come back at this when he comes back home. So be excited about this. So we're taking, like, one step forward and then trying to take another step forward, so we'll see how it goes. But I appreciate that because for somebody who's very uneducated about technical stuff,
if it's any consolation to you, my very first movies, we're talking year one, were all on home video.
Sure. Oh my
low-grade
God. Really?
camera. Yeah, like my fourth highest rated movie is actually my first, and that's Nightmare Ends on Halloween Part 1. And we did that at a factory, and I had great locations, great lighting, but again, I'm shooting on a little tiny handycam with, maybe 180p, or 180 pixels. Yeah, it was so tiny. So now that you have iPhones and everything, you can shoot the thing on an iPhone. You'll be fine unless you have a better camera.
That's just amazing to me. Just the fact that when filmmakers say they're like, yeah, I just pulled out my iPhone and we did this, and it just blows my mind. I'm like, remember back in the day when they had to use, they still do obviously use Canon cameras and other things like that, but it's amazing to me that technology has just brought us so far that we're able to produce good quality filming off of something that's so finite. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's just amazing. Mm-hmm. So my question is, here's some stats about Chris, and don't shoot the messenger because I'm told IMDb isn't always accurate. So as of today, it says that Chris has written 78 projects. He's produced 75 projects. He's been cinematographer in 79 projects. But additionally, he's also done other things, of course, like casting, obviously costumes, musical composition, stunts. So I wanted to ask you, out of all these different hats that you've ever worn, and you can't say producer, outside of being a producer, What's the other big thing there for you? Like, I get really excited, pumped up. I really love doing stunts, or I really love doing composition. You know what I'm saying? Your other hat, if it wasn't the producer hat, what do you really, really get nuts about?
It's actually, it's all one hat, and it's filmmaker. I've always defined myself as a filmmaker. I make a film. Every job associated with a filmmaker is part of the one job that I do. So writing, directing, editing, producing, shooting the movie, making the costumes, making the props, it's all one job for me. In fact, some of my movies literally just say made by me. I'm not the kind of guy, if you ever read my credits, I only credit myself twice. The first credit is directed by, and then the second credit is written, shot, and edited by. I never do individual credits. And I never go over that. The only time I ever did, it was as a joke, because I did a movie that was bad on purpose, and it just said poorly written, terribly shot, horrifically edited by me.
Wow. Me. I like that. It's not very often you hear a filmmaker say, me. It was all me, plain and simple, and it is all you, which is awesome.
Well, I downplay it. I just like to downplay it. I do my thing, and that's it. I don't want to have and this is a piece of advice I'll give to all filmmakers. Unless you are A-list, never, ever, ever, ever in a trailer or an advertisement or an interview or anything like that go, from the mind of. Because that is the most pretentious thing you can ever do. From the mind of Chris Notarile. No, fuck me, okay? Fuck me if I ever do that. Punch me in the face if I ever go from the mind of. Because I'm not... Is he freaking you
out doing that? Because that's freaking me out right now. Oh, my God, you sound so creeper. Stop doing that. You're freaking me out.
I could do movie voice. But, yeah, I do impressions all the time and everything like that. I do a lot of voiceovers in my film as well. So, but, yeah, no, never, ever, ever go... from the director of, from the mind of, because you're nobody.
Sure.
I'm a nobody, you're a nobody. That's it. Just say directed by. The most you can do is possessive. Chris Notarile's movie. Your movie, that's fine, because it's your film. Or a film by you, that's great, but never from the mind of, from the visionary director of, from the blah, 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 blah. Keep jerking yourself off and tell me if it feels good.
Oh, my God, he's killing me. Well, thanks for letting me know I'm nobody today. Appreciate that.
Everyone,
isn't he
Bobby Darin said it best. Bobby Darin said it best. As long as there's one person on the world who doesn't know who you are, you're a nobody.
Oh, well, I can take that from Bobby Darin because he was quite kick-ass, so I'm totally not gonna diss that.
Yeah.
I want to do some more statistics, so listen to this, kids. 5 times, as I might have prefaced today. Sacramento Horror Film Festival, he won for Viewers' Choice for his film Methodic. The New York City Independent Film Festival, which is the Best Noir Short Film. The Jersey Shore Film Festival, he won the Jury Award for Best Director and Best Shoot for The Protector, which you shared, I believe, with someone else, which would be another producer. Is that correct?
On Standoff, I shared that. Protector, I did all by myself. I had a guy who helped me raise my funds for Standoff, so yeah, he shared that award.
Gotcha.
He also put me in the festival, so took it.
Oh, nice. Very nice. And we have the International Film
Yeah.
Festival where you get the Film Festival Director Award for your best feature and standoff, and the Big Apple Film Festival Prize for Methodic. We want to talk about Methodic a little bit because I know, first of all, it was released on DVD back in 2009, so that's still accessible to folks, yes?
Technically, yes. It's actually expensive now. Apparently, I'm no longer with my distributor. I own all the rights to the film, and so I've stopped distribution on the movie altogether because I intend to remake it, and I don't want to kind of spoil it. So now I checked Amazon, and apparently some copies are going for like $100.
Dang! Seriously?
Yeah. Isn't that cool?
Oh, my God. That is very cool. But I guess I shouldn't have brought that up
man.
because I actually thought it was on DVD. I'm like,
it
yeah, let's promote that
is.
sucker.
You could probably find like a couple of copies of it for, cheap and everything like that. But I did find that some guy was selling it for $100, and I was like, that's hilarious.
Oh my God, that's amazing. I mean, $100, that's wow. Okay. All right, I want to talk a little bit, obviously, of course, about some of the projects that stood out to me. Obviously, all of these folks, as you'll know at the end of our interview, I'll tell you all the ways to find them, but of course, it's not only on his channel, but on his IMDb as well. To those that don't know, the Krueger series, A Tale from Elm Street, obviously you and Roberto, who's the main character who plays Freddy Krueger, have been working together for 10 years. And that's always a true testament of chemistry, not just between the filmmaker, but as friends as well. So I want you to talk a little bit about Roberto and what stands out to you in your mind as a filmmaker and as a friend about this person. And we want to get him cast as well. So if anybody's listening and you're looking for an actor, Roberto's the guy.
What's great about Roberto, at least with working with me, is we've gotten to a point in our professional relationship that I don't have to direct him anymore. He kind of just knows what I want, and I know what he's capable of. So when I write with him in my mind, knowing how he sounds, how he speaks, what his vernacular consists of. So I don't have to ever worry about putting him in a zone, even if he's playing a new type of character, that would bewilder him.
Okay.
I'm always going to write dialogue that is accessible to him, unless he says, just give me more. And then when I'm directing him, he knows what I want, and he knows how to play for what I want. So many times, I don't ever have to say much of anything to him. It's a very silent process, other than, do it again, sound was bad, do it again, I was out of focus. It's usually a technical thing that I make him do a secondary take, versus I have to tell him, do it again because your last take was terrible.
Gotcha. I see. So you do have a good sense of balance, and you understand each other's boundaries, etc. And I think that's very important when actors are working with filmmakers. And it shows on camera, just so you folks know. I finally got a chance to meet both Chris and his co-star, obviously, at the Fantastic Film Festival, the Horror Film Festival this last year. And the one thing I can share with you guys is Roberto in real life, totally the opposite of what you're seeing on camera. This is why I think it's so exceptionally well done, the film series itself, because it's so opposite of who this person is. He is so genuine and so loving and so sweet and so wonderful.
I will attest. In real life, Roberto is just a Disney addict and a giant baby. He would rather be at Disneyland eating candy and going on rides than doing anything else. We did a vampire movie called Turned, and, he's like this hard-ass preacher, and, he's bloody, he's dirty, he's tied up in this filthy area fighting vampires, and he's just like, I can't wait to go home and just, take a hot bath right now.
That is so awesome.
He's so
See what I mean? That is amazing, too, because it's like, here he is playing this awful, terrible killer, and it's like, oh, my God, this is so not who this person is. And that's what makes it so classic. It's like, this is just awesome, absolute awesome casting, and I think it's wonderful. And, of course, as I mentioned, you guys will get a chance because they've been so nice to say yes, so I get to do a special screening at my film festival of the series. So thank you guys both for that. I'm so pumped and excited. And every time I watch it, I have to sit with someone. Not because I'm a stupid freak, because Freddy Krueger isn't the worst, but, you know what, I don't know. I think it's a chick thing. Like, for instance, when you're doing your voices at home, doesn't your girlfriend get kind of freaked out? I mean, I think it's a chick thing where it's just like we're not really built for horror.
When Lindsay and I first got together, and she watched the Krueger thing, she's like, that's really good. And I told her about a feature script. She goes, I have to read it. And I'm like, okay. So I gave her the feature script to read. It's my vision of Freddy Krueger's origins from birth to death and beyond. And she's getting to certain parts, and then she like gets up and walks away. I go, what's happening? I can't finish it. I go, you have to finish it. She goes, it's really fucked up. What is wrong with you? And I go, it's not me. I didn't create this. This is Wes. He created it. I'm just doing the job. And like I had to force her to sit down and finish it, and she's like, I hate you. I'm gonna have nightmares now.
Oh.
You're terrible.
See,
I'm like,
did.
hey.
Oh.
But that's
what's wrong with you, men?
You want to start them, you're gonna have to finish it.
No, I understand. I do understand completely. That's another good question I have for you, is because obviously you've done films like, for instance, Friday the 31st, Michael versus Jason, the Krueger thing. You've got, obviously, Deadpool that's out there. So all of these different various, when it comes down to the actual creators, meaning the original creators, have you had an opportunity to sit down and touch base with them, meet them in person, etc.? Meaning the originals like Wes Craven or some of them.
That was fantastic. I was upset. I never got to meet Wes. I always wanted to meet him, and I always wanted to gauge what he felt about my interpretation of the character. I really think I kind of, in my opinion, I think I got about as close to what he could have done for a human Freddy, because he never got to really tackle living Freddy Krueger. He only did, the first film, the third film, and then the New Nightmare. So he never got to really tackle Freddy alive. So I think I got as close as I could to that. I got to meet John Carpenter, which was awesome, and that was when we had done Escape from New Jersey, which was the sequel to Escape from New York. And it was cool because I got to talk to him privately, and I told him who I was and what I did, and I gave him a copy of Escape from New Jersey and Methodic, and he was impressed. And he's like, that's really cool. You did that, dude? And I'm like, yeah. And he was just very chill. So that was a good day. I met Toby Hooper once, and I met Clive Barker once. But I never really did much with Pinhead or Leatherface. But Clive was incredibly excited when I told him about The Nightmare Ends on Halloween. I met him back in, I literally want to say, 2004 after I had done it. He was, really excited that I had them all in one room fighting.
Gotcha. Oh, no kidding. Well, and the other thing, too, is when you meet legends like that, it's just so amazing to be able to continue on it, and you're helping assist to promoting their original work, which I think is absolutely fabulous, of course. I'm curious why you haven't done, or did I miss something in the repertoire you have that you haven't done a Stephen King? I could see that easily, like a Stephen King character.
Actually, I always wanted to do, these are two things I wanted to do. I wanted to do Carrie, and I wanted to do Christine. But, but I want to do Christine too. I always had a really solid pitch for that, and I wanted it to be that there's just what if Christine had GPS? Christine had Navstar or OnStar or Talk. Yeah. So I wanted to do a modern version where she was a new car, with a classic twist to her, but I wanted her to have AI, so she could communicate to whomever she was talking to instead of just through music. But that's a little bit out of my price range because, again, I can't really destroy a car and get away with it.
Right. Well, of course not.
It's just on my list of things to do. As far as Carrie's concerned, I had an idea that I may actually tap into at some point. I wanted to deal with Carrie having an older sister instead of a younger sister like they did in The Rage. I wanted it to be that, the mom had always talked about how the father laid with her and he went off and blah, blah, blah. It's well, what if she had another sibling? But this sibling was, locked up. And, they knew that she had powers, and they were pretty much keeping her on lockdown, trying to use her. So more or less kind of in Logan, I guess if you saw Logan, they had all the kids in the Mutant X program, or if you saw, Chronicle, just basically some situation where you have this overpowered girl, and she's going to go nuts.
I like that idea. That's not bad, actually. Really. I got to ask you, man, because I'm a writer, too. So, of course, some of the people that are listening are writers, too. So just tell me a little bit, what kind of fuels or fosters this creativity? Because you have a seriously clever mind, and these ideas seem to keep flying out of you left, right, and sideways. So what kind of fuels or fosters all of that? Meaning, you know what I mean? You just never seem devoid of ideas. You never seem to have the writer's block that some of us get, every other month.
That is definitely an understatement. I have idea diarrhea. There's always something coming out of me. I have to plug them up at some point. I have so many unmade scripts. It's fun. and I'm still writing as I go. But
That's
for me,
awesome.
the creative can come down to several things. The first is it financially possible for me to make something in this moment in time that I want to do? Like, if I have an idea, can I physically do it? If the answer is yes, the next question is, what's my give a damn? Every story that out there has a give a damn feature. What is mine? Why factor? Give a damn factor. Why is somebody going to give a damn about what it is that I'm making? So let's say I want to do, for example, the James Bond thing, right? That's my next quest. Can I physically do it? Yeah, I think I can physically do it. So I'm going to write for my budget, which is 0. Always have a budget set at 0. The next question is, what is my give a damn factor? I have to now think, what's my angle? What is different about my story that is going to set it apart from other Bond movies or other Bond fan films? Because I remember I have to compete with fan films and stand out. Looking back, if you saw, I did Batman Dante last year.
Yes.
That was my Batman movie. That has a perfect give a damn factor. I said my angle was I want to have Batman be a horror movie villain. I don't want him to be a hero. Even though he's doing good things, I don't want him to be viewed as a hero. So, and I said, I don't want it to be told from Batman's perspective either. I want it to be told from the perspective of someone who gets scared from Batman. So we have this drug addict who witnesses Batman in action, and he's telling his story. And Batman's coming down, and also we have the Keaton costume, which is awesome. It was the 1989 Michael Keaton bat suit, and looked great. So I want to see that version of Batman being filmed as if he was Jason Voorhees, beating the crap out of these bad guys with no hero music, no hero poses, no turns to the camera, none of that. And that was my give a damn factor. It was Batman looking actually scary with zero remorse, but there's still a moment of hope in the story. So that all assembled. The movie was what it was, and that's it. Yeah.
And I just want to add that I watched Dante, by the way, and I found that really depressing, actually. I got to the end and I was like sad. I'm like, this is kind of sad to me. That was just my take on it. It's well made, but it's sad.
He got better. He got better. He saw what happened, and Batman said, "You're not a nobody," and he cleaned his life up and all that. He did clean his life up, but yeah, it's not supposed to. It's not supposed to be. I don't want Batman putting his hands on his hips and smiling, saying, everything is going to be A-okay. Batman is not for that. He's supposed to be scary, and I wanted him to look scary.
No, I know.
But again, I wanted to have an ominous ending.
Right, and you managed to succeed in that part, definitely. And what's cool is I could switch from watching to something like that to like when I watched the Powerpuff Girls. Oh my God, I was just laughing. And not laughing because it's like, ha-ha, funny, cheesy. It's just cool. You know what I'm talking about? It's just cool. The casting was awesome. It wasn't over the top. It was just perfect as it goes, as far as that goes. I haven't seen Friday the 31st yet. I haven't watched that yet, and I have to make it a point to do that.
That's old.
I want to flip over.
Way old.
That's what I figured. But sometimes I find some of the best work a director does isn't always what he's doing right now. You know what I mean? Like, it's bits and pieces. Like, when he first started out, there was this and this. And now he's at this stage and he does this and that. So I like to pick, like, a little bit from everywhere all of the time to kind of put together everything.
Well,
You've done the
film
side of thing?
I actually have that. I have it's called a playlist called Director's Choice, and it has my personal best in there from all my career. Yeah.
I'm checking that out. And you guys should check that out, too, as a matter of fact. And we don't want to forget to mention you haven't done just the film side of things, so the TV side of things. Obviously, Phantom Faye you've done before, and Night Lurk, and, of course, Deadpool. I was curious about the Deadpool thing because I was like, Now, that didn't seem, and forgive me because I don't know you as well as I probably should, but that just didn't seem to fall in your, I don't know. I was like, okay, he did this Deadpool thing, but it didn't seem to, like, match with you. Does that make sense? For some reason, I was like, I don't know if this fits for him. Do you know what I mean by that? Like, it was kind of a stretch in a different direction? You know what I mean?
It was definitely a step in a different direction. With Deadpool, what I wanted to do is I wanted to do something insane. I wanted it to be funny. I wanted it to be zany, and I wanted to. It's kind of like this is before the Ryan Reynolds movie came out. So I figured there was no good version of Deadpool out there, in my opinion, so I wanted to try and give my take, and it's more comic accurate. My version of Deadpool is what was in the comic books before, of course, Ryan took over, and he did a great job. I'm not going to downplay that. So for me, I just wanted to do something that was crazy and funny, and it was going to go viral until we got shut down.
Really?
Yeah. We got I think like 20,000 views in a week, which is the most I'd ever gotten in such a short amount of time. And all of a sudden, I went on, before I put up episode 3 with Freddy Krueger in it, I got a notification from YouTube saying that my channel had 2 strikes on it, and a third strike, I'm getting deleted.
Dang. Wow.
And yeah,
can they do that? Really?
It was Fox. Fox had filed the copyright infringement against me.
Right.
And so I had to remove them off of YouTube, as well as all of my other Marvel fan films, which is why they're on my Vimeo channel now. And what happened was I was under probation for the next year and a half on YouTube.
Oh my God,
had limited.
Insane.
Yeah, I was limited in what I did and everything like that, and it sucked.
Sure.
So I don't put Marvel fan films on YouTube anymore. That's my new thing.
Gotcha. No, I understand completely, definitely. But, obviously it's out there, folks, and he's done this before, clearly, and I didn't want to forget to mention that, obviously. And as far as your latest projects, because I know you already mentioned, obviously, Long Live Logan. Now, the Long Live Logan, now you've shot that and it's done and it's up? I wasn't 100%. I saw a couple of things on there, but I just want to clarify. Is that done, finished, and in the can, or you're still working on it?
It's done. It's completely done, and it's available to view if you go to, if you click the link in the description on the YouTube video, it'll take you straight to Vimeo to watch it.
Okay, awesome. So we can check that out. Now, the other 2 projects that are upcoming, Rick and Monty Strike Again and Whatever Happened to Mace Windu.
Rick and Morty.
That's Rick and Morty, I'm sorry. Now, those 2 features, are they a work in progress right now, or can you give us a status on those and what those are about?
Rick and Morty Strikes Again films tomorrow, and it should be online maybe next week, if not sooner.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's going to be funny. It's dark. If you're a fan of Rick and Morty and you saw my first Rick and Morty Ruin a Fan Film short film, you'll realize that this is pretty much in tune with the theme of the show. Like season 3 is literally they go, it gets darker, Morty. Well, this gets dark. We have Rick and Morty. They are still looking for that damn sauce, and they've employed Wendy from Wendy's
to
help.
I saw the Wendy thing, and I was like, what the hell? Okay, so now this makes sense here a little bit. Okay, and then the
they're
other
looking
film,
for McDonald's sauce, and Wendy is working for them, so you can put 2 and 2 together what's going to happen.
Too funny. Oh, my God, that is so funny. All right, and Mace Windu. Mace Windu is, forgive me for not knowing this, I'm like, whatever happened to Mace Windu? Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Well, then that leaves the obvious other question, which is, I don't know, in 30 to 60 days from now, what's Chris going to be putting out then? Because it seems to be just an ongoing barrage of, wait till next month, something else will be coming out, which is awesome. I'm so digging that. So I'm just curious, what do you think's up ahead in the next couple of months here? Anything really different out of the ordinary?
How
about a romance?
I'm not big on romance just because I have such an aggressive viewpoint on things. I'm a very romantic person, don't get me wrong, but when it comes to making movies, I just, for some reason, the cynicism comes out, and there's always going to be something darker involved, so I can't do it.
Got it. Okay.
What I have planned is, let's see, I'm coming towards the end of my what's the word I'm looking for? My streak. Like I usually, I'm on for like 4 or 5 months, just making stuff, and then I kind of cool off for a little bit. Because as of right now, I actually don't have anything other than the James Bond thing that I'm writing, but that's not scheduled until September. So I don't know what might happen between July and August. If something happens and pops into my mind, I'll make it. But I don't have anything projected to happen right now.
Okay, got it. All right. Well, I should say that you have done quite a bit here. Oh, my gosh. I want to read off the different ways to find you. So when I'm done, just let me know if I missed anything. Chris, of course, has an IMDb profile. He's obviously got his YouTube channel, which is, of course, Blinky500. He's on Vimeo. He is on Instagram as at Blinky500. Same thing with Twitter
It's
at
all
Blinky500.
social media.
Yes,
all social media is Blinky500.
Yes, and including his video channel, obviously, which you mentioned, which is Blinky500. He is also on Facebook, and his last name is spelled Notarile. Any place else I might have missed?
No, that's kind of it. I even have Model Mayhem if there are any models that want to work with me. I do photography as well.
Oh, I didn't know that, actually. That's awesome, and that's good to
Yeah.
know, as a matter of fact, because you never know when you're going to need somebody like that or something like that, I should say. That's absolutely awesome. Now, I don't want to forget to ask this question. So if people want to meet Chris in person, is he doing any of the festival stuff this year? Is he going to be out and about where people can, like fans or followers, can actually meet you in person? Because I think that's kind of cool.
Well, I don't have any conventions scheduled, and I am not opposed to going to any convention that will have me. I really want to, though. I'm trying to get into the Long Beach Comic-Con, which is happening, but they haven't responded to me yet, so we'll see. And I don't have any ability to get into Comic-Con at this point, but I heard you talking about it. If you know somebody, I will go.
I do. I know lots of somebodies. Well, oftentimes I work with publishers.
I will
that
roam
work with
the floors in funny outfits.
Oh, this guy is just killing me. Oh, my God, you are just so funny. I'm like, this must be like a crack a minute. Your girlfriend must be laughing or crying like every other minute with you. It's such a blast. I'm like,
no, she's
you never
crying,
know what's
but I
going
don't
to
think
this
it's
guy's
the
mouth.
joke.
Oh, my God, listen to this. Yes, I will work my magic here and see what we have available in the – well, because you're in California, so we want to keep you around California, Vegas, et cetera, et cetera. But let me talk to those people. And by the way, after I left you, although I'm still working on it, you know that I've tapped Mr. Brad Dorff for you and asked if he is still looking at scripts or want to look at scripts or want to be involved with something. So I haven't forgotten you. I just don't have an answer. So I'm hoping to connect you and Brad Dorff because I think that would be absolutely awesome. He's a guy in high demand, clearly. Higher demand than me.
Oh, definitely. He's got the cult coming out.
He's
now.
amazing.
Brad is the only person that I would agree to do a Chucky prequel with.
Oh, that's awesome. You heard it first on this show, by the way. He's saying it right now. So if you're listening, Brad, because I'm sure you have nothing else to do besides listen to us. Well, I hope, but probably not. We're throwing that out there, and that's a wonderful idea. So, yeah, I'm going to
Brad
pitch you.
has seen any of my prequels and he appreciates them, I would be more than happy to do a what happened to Charles Lee Ray before he got shot story.
Oh, my God, listen to you. He's not kidding with this diarrhea thing. Like, you're really not kidding. They just don't ever stop. This is, like, amazing.
Yeah.
I want to have your brain for, like, 2 days. This is awesome.
I would really love to see Chucky and Tiffany together as humans. I think that would be a great story.
Oh, my God, that would be fabulous. See,
yeah.
I'm on board with that. I totally want to see that, too. And I'm sure at least 1,000 of you people listening right now probably do, too, actually. Well, this much I have to say to you, dear Chris, in closing, since we've come full circle. Hopefully I've done justice to you and all of your projects and all the things that you've done. These are some of the impressions I have of Chris because you guys have never met him and I have, and unfortunately I was not entitled to spend enough time in his space, so to speak, when we first met, which is unfortunate. One of the three things that I admire most about you, Chris, is not only are you passionate, but you're also very poignant while being very blunt. And in this business, it's really hard to be real and to be blunt and to be honest about the things you feel and the projects that you create because it causes a lot of diversity and adversity, as I call it, in both senses of the word. What I think is really cool is you stay true to your projects, you find your funding, you do what you love to do, and you don't care if people like it. You want them to love it, and you have tons and tons of fans and followers, but you're okay with continuing to produce work that you're satisfied and happy with. You cast some tremendous individuals. I'm so happy and excited that you're going to be part of my festival. I can't wait to come to California because I'm going to get you into Comic-Con, and then we can maybe go together because I have this comic book thing. And don't be surprised if I knock on your door to keep asking you about this web series because I'm pretty stupid. I mean, I'm a very smart woman, but I'm pretty stupid when it comes down to the, you know what I mean, the technical kind of stuff. It's just not a chick thing. It's not what we do.
I'm always successful. I'm like that neighbor in a sitcom that you can just come into my house because the doors are unlocked.
Oh, my God. See, you're totally freaking me out. And note to self and note to everyone else, don't watch this stuff at any time. If you're a female, don't watch it at night because it's just going to freak you out. Because some of the stuff you're doing kind of freaks me out, so I don't watch it at night. But I do watch it. So I'm like, okay. And I'm so proud and so happy to say that I'm a Chris fan. And I hope that we can continue to work together. I can hopefully keep having this festival and showing your work every year. That would be awesome. And I'll keep in touch with you about the Comic-Con stuff, because I know at least 3 publicists that work with Comic-Cons in different areas. So let me see what I can do to tap the doors in there, because you're perfect for that. I mean, literally you are.
We would love to.
You totally are.
Lindsay has an amazing costume. She would love to reveal at the show.
Oh, my God, that's so exciting. I cannot wait to see this. This is absolutely awesome. Wonderful. Terrific. And, again, thank you for being so patient. Thank you for giving me all this time on the show. Thank you for doing all this creative stuff that I love and enjoy watching that hopefully everybody else will watch. And just so you know, in about 2 hours, I'll send you the link to this so you can repost it, and then it becomes archived, and then anybody can listen to it all year round. And feel free to come back and tap on my door in like a year and talk about 80 more projects, because I'd love to have you.
Anytime. Thank you for having me.
Yes! We love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Awesome. All right, please send my very best to Lindsay and let her know I hope to meet her one day, because she really is very beautiful, and I'm so very happy for you. I think it's absolutely wonderful. And I mean it. Thanks again for allowing me to show the films, and I'll work on this Comic-Con stuff, and we'll stay in touch. Now go enjoy your afternoon, young man.
Thank you. I'll talk to you soon, Cindy.
All right, my dear. I'll talk to you soon. Take care, dear.
All right, bye.
Tell me that was just not an absolutely fabulous interview. I have said 155,000 times that any time what I call a creative chameleon comes on my show, I'm excited. And he's not just a producer, and he's not just a writer, and he's not just a cinematographer. He's a little bit of everything. And I truly mean it when I say that his work has substance and quality to it. I wholeheartedly advocate all of you checking out the YouTube channel, which is Blinky 500. On Vimeo, IMDb. He has his Facebook personal page, which is Chris, and again, the spelling is Notarile. Also, Twitter handle and Instagram are both at Blinky500, and he can also be found on Amazon. And as he mentioned, he not only put up a new reel today for Blinky Productions Incorporated, but he's also in the fields of photography, music video, commercials, and private events as well. So again, one more time, thanks so much to Chris for coming on the show. Thanks to Roberto, of course, for not only being my friend, but also my follower, as well as coming to my film festival to showcase your work in Krueger, Tales of Elm Street, A Tale From Elm Street, excuse me. Again, one more reminder to everybody that Sonia is going to be hitting my show at 11 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. In case you want to Google her and take a look at her, it's Sonia, S-O-N-I-A, Satra, S-A-T-R-A. She is the founder of a product called Motici, M-O-T-I-C-I-S-E. It's basically both the brain and the body working together for a bigger and better you. Actually, somewhat similar to what I had just experienced in New York City with the Saving Dr. Sarno movie, actually. So I'm really excited to talk to her, for one, about improving us and our individual selves. Obviously, she was in the Hugh Hefner story very recently, her background in daytime soap operas, as well as theater, commercial, and modeling work. So much to talk about. So please tune in tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central Time. Last thing I wanted to mention to everybody is, obviously, I posted up this morning, Chris is probably the only person that I'm having any human contact with today on the radio show, and I appreciate and I'm so very grateful for the respect that you've shown me in giving me some personal time today. It's a very, very challenging, very uncomfortable, very emotional day for me. So I appreciate all of your support and your well wishes. Thanks to my listening audience. Thanks for getting me before I forgot to mention this. 61,200 followers is nothing to laugh at, so I cannot thank you enough. I am literally everybody's favorite nobody, it would seem. Well, not really. Apparently I have a nobody, according to Chris, but you guys get my point. I obviously would not have a show without fans, followers, listeners, guests. I'm so very blessed to know people who are so creative and talented and wonderful and kind and willing to share time with me. So thank you to every single one of you. Thanks for your participation in the show. Don't want to forget to mention, in about 30 days or so, as I might have mentioned on both the show page and on my regular page, I'm switching over to Patreon. So from now on, you'll be able to not only watch me do my show, but you'll get an opportunity to help in contributing to making it grow. So I'll make sure that I post that information up in the next few days. You guys have a great night, and I look forward to talking to you tomorrow morning.
What you doing?
Ran out of space on my phone, so I'm deleting some stuff. By singing dog. By goal.
I pronounce you.
By wedding ceremony.
Stop. At Metro PCS, you get 2 free phones with twice as much memory.
Really?
Don't say bye to your memories. Switch to Metro PCS and get 2 free LG K20 Plus phones with 32 gigs when you switch 2 lines. Metro PCS. Wireless. Figured out. Coverage not available in some areas. Sales tax not included in phone price. Excludes numbers on the T-Mobile network. See store for details and terms and conditions.
What you doing?
Ran out of space on my phone, so I'm deleting some stuff. By singing dog. By goal.
I pronounce you
By
husband.
wedding ceremony.
Stop. At Metro PCS, you get 2 free phones with twice as much memory.
Really?
Don't say bye to your memories. Switch to Metro PCS and get 2 free LG K20 Plus phones with 32 gigs when you switch 2 lines. Metro PCS. Wireless. Figured out. Coverage not available in some areas. Sales tax not included in phone price. Excludes numbers on the T-Mobile network. See store for details and terms and conditions.